Alrighty guys, welcome back to the channel. Now this is going to be a continuation from the video you just saw on how to install these auxiliary fog lights. Now in this particular video I'm going to be showing you on how to connect those to an additional switch on the handlebars, and not only that, we'll be connecting those auxiliary lights to a separate battery on the bike. So when you're out there riding, and in case you're getting low on your main battery of the bike, you could go ahead and turn off your main headlights and then use this one, because now it's going to be connected to a separate battery on the bike. Therefore, you'll be able to get to your destination while conserving a little bit more battery life off the bike and being able to see the road at nighttime. Alright, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get a continuation on the video.
Alright, don't mind this piece. This piece is for the other the switch I'm showing you, which is actually this guy right here. Alright, so we have two switches. We got this guy and we got this one. This one is to be installed on the handlebars. As you can see, it's a push button and out. And this one will be to install on the lever. So for this particular switch, if you wanted to install something like this, how to install it is that you would remove this bolt right here, and then once you remove it, you're going to put this in its place like this, and then put the bolt back in. Therefore, and then you can just kind of move it right there, and then just push it in to turn it on, push it out to turn it off. This one has 3 wires, so this one is actually a lidded halo. So if you wanted to have it light up when you push it in, to know that you do have it, the accessory lights on, the circle would light up, and then when you push it, it'll turn off altogether, so indicating that you don't have the lights on. So that's one way of installing for a switch. I was thinking about doing this one, but when I looked in my toolbox, I noticed that I had a handlebar switch, which is right here, and I've had this in my toolbox for quite some time. So for me, I'm gonna go ahead and wire this one for myself this way on the handlebars. Now to do so, here is the bracket for this one. And I've noticed that if I were to put it on here like this, you could see it doesn't want to go in all the way. But here is the trick. Just go ahead and push it in forward a little bit more, and now you're able to slide it in all the way up to right there. Perfect. And you just get the part over here, and then just put it right there, put the 2 screws in, and you're all set. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and with the screws, what you want to do, you want to make sure that you use some thread lock. So here's the blue thread lock. There we go. Here's some blue thread lock. This is what I'm going to be using on the screws. Therefore, the screws won't vibrate loose. So you guys do the same. All right. So now we got the switch on there, and it's on there secure. Push it in to turn it on. Push it out to turn it off. So to hide the wires now, obviously you see the cable here. I'm going to go ahead and zip tie it to the existing cabling that it has over here underneath it, and kind of just follow the wiring all the way down to the bottom. And then from there, I will show you how to connect the one cable to the lights, and obviously we're going to need a power source for the lighting. Now for this project of the bike, I decided to get an additional power source for the lights. Now I'm going to have 2 batteries to this bike. One battery is going to be for accessories, like I'm thinking about putting in the future a body glow on the bike, and the other one is going to be for these fog lights and maybe any other particular headlighting or auxiliary lighting for that matter. Now I'll have a link in the description down below of this video of these 2 batteries, or if you wanted to just buy one. The battery size is perfect for the e-vader bike. Let me go ahead and show you that, and where the position of these batteries are going to be and how to tap into it. Now another thing you're probably asking, why don't I just use the battery that comes with the bike altogether? I could, but that would, if I do that, that will decrease the range I could get with the e-vader bike, and I definitely don't want to decrease any range whatsoever. So by putting an additional battery source, I'm able to power my accessories and not take away from the bike, getting maximum amount of distance of the bike. All right guys, now here comes the fun part, wiring. This is the battery that I'll be using for the fog lights. Now what we need to do is we need to get the wire from the fog lights, which is over there, to the battery, which is right here. Now I found a cool little spot on the e-vader where to route the wire. So what we're going to do is we are going to grab our wire. This is going to be a small wire. I think this one is a 18 gauge red and black, just a simple red and black. I got a zip tie which is pretty long, and this is what I use to kind of fish cabling. So I'm just going to go ahead and zip it really good and tight here. And let me show you the area that I'll be kind of fishing this through, which in turn is kind of pretty much going to come out through this pocket area. Now I've turned the handlebars all the way to the right, and if you notice that right here is a nice little pocket area, and I've noticed that it would go all the way through. So again, I'm just gonna kind of maybe fold the cable and kind of twist it like this. And then I'm gonna feed my, sorry for my hand being in the way. I'm just gonna feed the zip tie until I get it to the other side. Once I do, then I'm just gonna go ahead and pull the cable out from this side. Alrighty guys, I'm not gonna lie, that was a little bit more challenging and difficult than I thought it would be, but I got it through. Alright, now we got the cable out through here. We don't need that much to be sticking out through this side, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull it in from the other way, right there. And pretty much we just want enough to be like right around here as we're gonna be connecting to these terminals. So I'm gonna leave that in right over here for now. We're gonna concentrate more over there in the front now. Alright, so now that we're over here in the front area, we're gonna grab our cable and we're gonna feed it through the forks to come out to the headlight compartment. I may be able to get a zip tie through here to come out through here to kind of secure the cable right over here. Alrighty guys, I know this part may look complicated, but I'm gonna try to simplify it as best as I can. Alright, so this cable right here, this is coming in from the switch. You're gonna see a black wire, and then you're gonna see a black wire with a line. That's signifying negative and positive, but we're really not gonna hook this up as a negative and positive. We're gonna hook it up as a positive and a positive, because all we're doing is just breaking the circuit to allow, to cut the lights, and connecting the circuit to allow the lights to turn on. So this is the switch. Next, we got our cable here that we had fished through the body. Now this is gonna go directly to the battery. We're gonna have obviously a black and a red, positive and negative, and that will be connected to positive and negative. The positive of this power wire is gonna go to the one with the black and white stripe on the switch. The negative from this is actually gonna go to the positive of our fog lights. The negative from the main wire from the battery is gonna be connected to the negative of the fog lights. So let me go ahead and start doing this, and then I'll kind of go through it a little bit more again, kind of repeating myself and kind of showing you the way to connect the wires. As far as the switch comes with these bullet connectors, we are not going to be using the bullet connectors. So I'm going to go ahead and snip those off, as I have no use for them. So I'm going to go ahead and snip those off. Once we snip those off, we're going to go ahead and splice the wires. So you guys do the same. I'm going to go ahead and splice these wires here. And you want to pretty much splice enough for you to, connect the wires. So there we go. And there we go. Alright, so this is coming in from the switch. So once you splice it, you could go ahead and just twist the wiring. As I go ahead and twist it, you want to make sure you twist it very tightly. So next is going to be our power wire coming in from the battery area. You don't want to have all of this wire. What you want to do is just kind of measure it and then, cut what you need. It's always good to have a little bit extra than being too short. For me, I'm going to say I'm going to cut around here. And so I'll give it a little bit extra. Alright, so now we can put this other part of the wire away, as we don't need that. Next, we're going to grab our blade. You want to make sure you're careful. And you're gonna cut in between here to separate the black and the red cable, as this is encased in here. And once you get it split, just go ahead and start pulling it. And you don't have to pull a lot, just pull as much as you need, like this. So I would say about that much is good. This rest of this part, you could go ahead and snip that off. So I'm gonna go ahead and snip this piece off. There we go. Next, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and splice this cable. So I'll splice the negative here. There we go. Once you're done splicing it, you could go ahead and twist the ends. All right, now that we got that part, we got this one, and then this is coming in from our fog lights, these two cables right here. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and twist those as well. All right, now this is the part where we're gonna start connecting everything. So for the negative, here is our fog lights. We're gonna put both negatives together. So go ahead and twist the two negative cables together. All right, now that you got the two negatives together, you're gonna go ahead and do the same for the positives. All right, so now you're left with like that, the positive and the negative. All right, so now that we got this part of the wiring for the fog lights, now next what we're gonna do is we are going to grab the power lead of the cable that goes straight to the battery. Now, what we're going to do is that we are going to wire the negative from this power cable to the negative of the fog lights right here. So, but before we do that, we want to put a little bit of heat shrink tubing over this because it's just going to be here like this. There'll be no other connection for this part. And then from there, we're just going to attach like this. Oh, sorry, my hand was in the way. But let me go ahead and put that in. So a little bit of heat shrink tubing on for the negative cable, and then we're gonna put the two wires together. But well, enough of me pausing. I'm just gonna go ahead and see if I can do this. So a little bit of heat shrink tubing right here. I'll go ahead and slide it over the negative of this cable. All right, alrighty, and the cable should look like this, intertwined with each other. So now that it's like that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to slip our heat shrink tubing over the cable, and then we're going to go ahead and heat that up, and that part will be done. All right, now that that one is already done, now all we're left is with the positive from the fog light and the positive from the cable that's coming from the battery. Now next we're going to do is we're going to connect our switch. Like I said, it's not really a positive and negative anymore. It's going to be a positive and a positive. All right, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use the one that has the black with the white stripe. That one, I'm gonna connect it straight to the one for the battery, which is gonna be this one. So before I do that, I'm gonna get some heat shrink tubing, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the tube in, and I'm gonna just connect the wires in like that. So let me go ahead and do that, and I'll show you before I shrink the tube on the cable and how it looks like. All right, so here is the switch. It's going to be the black with the white stripe going onto the positive from the cable that's going to the battery. So that's already intertwined with each other. So I'm going to go ahead and slide the heat shrink tubing over the cable like so. And then I'm just going to get my lighter and shrink the tube. All right, now that one is done. Now next, I'm going to grab the heat shrink tubing again. We're going to slide it over the other cable, which is all black, and we're going to connect that with the other positive from the fog lights. So again, and to intertwine them, all you do is make a little X like this, and then just fold one over the other. I know it's kind of hard to see with my hand in the way. And then when you're done, you want to make sure that it's super tight on it. So looks like this. And then again, just slide the heat shrink tubing over it. Get it all in there. And then once you got it in there, then you're gonna go ahead and shrink the tube. All right, and that's pretty much it for how to do that part. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of put this casing over it. And then at this point, what you wanna do is you wanna kind of just tidy up the wires. So get some zip ties, and I'm just gonna kind of probably fold it like this or whatnot, or just make it a little bit more neater, and zip tie it. And then I think we're ready to go ahead and put the headlight back in its place. Okay, at this point we are ready to go ahead and put the headlight back in place. So let's grab our headlight, and then at this point you kind of want to just, push the wires in a little bit, kind of, see how everything is, and, just kind of manage the wires as best you can when putting the headlight back in. The longer screws go on the bottom, the shorter ones go on the top. So I think we are ready to go there. All right, so while I go ahead and do that, you guys do your same. Just make sure you guys are taking your time in this department or on putting everything back in its place. Alrighty guys, we are almost there and almost done. The only thing we have left to do is connect our power cable to the battery. Now what we're going to do is the same thing as we did before. Grab our blade, and we're going to kind of just cut right down the middle over here to separate the black and the red cable. Just make sure you're careful with the sharp blade. And then once you get it kind of going, you're just gonna go ahead and kind of just separate them. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you what to do next. All right, now that we got them separated like this, red and, you can see it probably, red and black. Now I'm gonna go ahead and splice a little bit off on each. And it doesn't have to be that much, just enough because we're actually gonna crimp a spade connector on there, and that's all we need. All right, so about that much, okay? Gonna go ahead and twist the end. All right, now that we did it. Now these can be the spade connectors that we're gonna be using. They are pretty much, they have the little plastic thing over it, so that's good. And I have them for both, so gonna go ahead and grab it. I'm just gonna slide it over, and I'm gonna go ahead and crimp it on both ends. So crimp this one, and go ahead and put the other one and crimp that one as well. All right, as you can see, I have them both crimped already. All right, so now the only thing left to do is just pretty much connect it. Gonna go ahead and connect our negative to negative. Let's go ahead and slide that in. There we go. And then we're gonna connect our positive to positive. All right, so now the only thing that's left to do is pretty much go ahead and put our seat back in, and then I want to go over here and press the button to turn on the fog lights. Alrighty guys, since we had connected the fog lights over here, we connected it directly to battery. Really, you don't really need the key to turn them on. So I'm just gonna go ahead and push the button. Nice, looking really good. Now, if I ever wanted to like ride and not use my main headlight, I could just go ahead and just ride with the little fog lights. To turn on the halos, we do need to have the key on because we did connect it to our little light over there. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the key. Nice, looking really good. I really love the accent of that. So now we have our little small light over here, and we have our halos. And then obviously headlight, and then our fog lights. So we should have plenty of lighting for the road and really be able to see the road really good at night. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to go outside, and we need to adjust our lights. Right now it's looking good, but you know, obviously this one needs to be a little bit further out than that one. But we're gonna go on the road and kind of adjust it. We're gonna adjust the up and down and the left and right to make sure that the lights are really good where we need them to be. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the fog lights. And you can see it's lighting up that tree over there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the headlights. And then now we're just gonna turn on the fog lights. So you can see that we do need to adjust them as they're not pointing in the right direction. We do need them to point down to the floor. All right, so to get a uninterrupted view of the fog lights, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the auxiliary lights, which is those halos. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and move the fog lights down. I would say probably around about there looks good. And I'm gonna go ahead and position the other one as well and move them there. Now it's up to you if you want like a spotlight look, because you see a spotlight if you put them together like that, or if you spread them apart, you're able to get a little bit more coverage of the road. And I've noticed at the bottom part of the circles, it's a little bit on the yellow side, as you can see on the camera. I wonder how it looks like with the headlights. If it does any extra lighting. It gives it a little bit, as you can see in the camera. So it does help a little bit with lighting. Let's see, put the high beam, and let me test it out with the fog lights. So it does provide a little bit of that extra lighting. On the camera it shows a little bit more than what it does in real life. So that's that. Let me go ahead and put back the low beam, and then just kind of play around with the lights to see which would be best. I'm gonna have to like kind of play around with the lights a little bit and kind of just find out what best works for me. You guys do the same when adjusting your lights. And then once you have everything set, you go back to the garage and then tighten down all the screws and cinch down the zip ties as best and tight as you can. Alrighty guys, we're back in the garage and already tightened down everything as much as possible, and also trimmed the zip ties over here and over there. Alright, so right now I'm just going to show you the front end of the bike. Let me go ahead and turn off some of these lights, and then we'll go with our mini bulb with the halos. That's looking really good. And then now we're going to go with the headlight. Nice and bright. High beam, low beam, and now fog lights. So again, these fog lights are okay. Perfect for, you know, this type of little mini bike. You know, it gives that little bit of extra lighting when you need it. It's not going to be super fantastic as far as super brightness. If you want super brightness, I would suggest getting the more expensive
Denali auxiliary lights, those would really light up the road. And that's what I have on the Gixxer and also on the R3. But for this little bike, you know, something like this is fine, you know, as we're not gonna, you know, the top speed on the bike is around 30 miles an hour. So yeah, perfect little neighborhood cruiser. All right, so I'm gonna turn off everything else. So fog lights, headlights, and then the halos. And then if I wanted to just ride with maybe only not the headlight or the DRLs, which is the halos and the little light, I could just ride around with just these fog lights as well. So it gives me a little bit of option. And if I wanted to ride with maybe, you know, just like the fog lights and the halos on with the little mini light in the middle, I kind of just have a lot of options to go with on how I want to ride, or I could just, you know, turn off everything and ride with no lights. Alrighty guys, well, if you guys enjoyed the video, I'm just gonna go ahead and turn off these ones. These ones look amazing. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please smash that like button. I know it's kind of hard to see. If you have any questions and suggestions or anything, leave them down in the comments down below. I'll also have a link for all of the products I use, and also a little extra in the description box as well. And don't forget to subscribe. Hit that notification bell, that way you guys are up to date with my latest uploads, and stay tuned for more videos on things to install on the e-vader. Alright guys, catch you guys on the next one. Take care.